Hey guys, we'll get started in just a minute. AR, why don't you try talking?
This is where I realized I had to get up at 6 o'clock this morning, or 6 o'clock this morning all week, and it's really starting to hit me now.
Dev, your turn.
I'm so sad because the Snom Poke Plush came out on Pokemon Center and it was gone immediately. My hopes and dreams are crushed.
That can be the theme of today's episode. Your hopes and dreams are crushed.
Yeah, that seems to be some sort of a falling metaphor would be appropriate.
Yeah. We'll wait until someone confirms they can hear all three of us.
Just putting my usual thing in there to make sure the chat is working for me. That's the only reason I do that. I'm not actually saying hi to be cordial.
Burr, 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 burr.
Yep. Confirmation they can hear us, so are you guys ready to go?
Yep.
Ooh.
Welcome to the With the Will podcast. We're here to entertain and inform a bit while talking about Digimon. I'm Mark, I run With the Will.
I'm AR Pulver, Digimon System Restore.
I'm DevQ and I work on Wikimon and I'm surrounded by cats.
Meow.
Wow.
That's
My cat
much
is sleeping.
That's much better than my lazy cat imitation.
When you have a cat, you learn how to cat back at them really well.
Can confirm.
Holiday weeks are always so long, and aren't they?
It depends on how you're celebrating them and what you do for a living. Like for me, it's like, okay, 3 days completely off on Thursday, and Friday I'm off, but the kid's at daycare, so I've got everything to myself. I've got the whole day to myself. I'm okay with this week.
I have work showing up tomorrow.
I work in retail. Please let me die.
Dev wins.
Yeah, see, we can't ever win that because we'll never beat retail.
I mean, I'm in
Even
online
worse.
retail, so
Yeah, but
it doesn't
Even
count.
worse,
I mean,
retail
not
in a
the same.
craft store
I mean-
during the holidays.
Ooh,
I
ooh.
assume we've both done retail at some point.
No. Closest I ever came to doing retail was working. I did a gas station and a camp convenience store for a
Okay.
summer.
Yeah,
So
okay.
no, I haven't done hardcore Black Friday style retail.
Okay,
No.
I've done movie theater, which not really retail but close, and comic book store.
Still sucks.
And comic book store run by someone who didn't quite understand comics.
Ooh.
Didn't
Why
want
are they
to
running a comic book store?
because he believed he understood comics. Didn't want to order cases of the Killing Joke because he's worried he'd get stuck with them. Do you know how many copies of the Killing Joke I could have sold any random day to anyone, even if they didn't know comics?
Yeah.
It's like the easiest. It's like going.
I don't do comic books, and I'm familiar with Killing Joke.
It's like it'd be like going. Well, I don't think we could sell Watchmen. I'm not going to order those.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It has an eye for the market right there.
Yeah. So, long holiday week, and good luck to everyone with it. And it was certainly an episode of Digimon Adventure this week, wasn't it?
It was very colony.
It's very adventure-y.
Very folly.
Much fall. Wow.
Man, do you know how? At one
I
point,
had flashbacks to Spy Kids.
Yeah, see, my view is anytime it's almost time I start writing down possible episode titles, the first thing I did was looking for Wile E. Coyote sign quotes. I ended up not
That's
going
a direction to go
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I ended up finding one close up, but yeah, it's weird because it not a good episode, but it felt like they had an idea of what we wanted to see. They just didn't execute or do it and weren't really interested in doing it.
There were certainly a lot of interesting things that they could have expanded on and gone with and committed to that would have made the episode salvageable,
And
but they let us
here's the
down
weird
every
thing.
time.
Here's the weird thing. We're not happy with it because we didn't actually get slow nonsense filler. Most of the people complaining about it on social media are not upset about that. They're upset that the episode was too slow and didn't have enough action.
See that as well, though, because if you're going to have a filler episode, you might as well do something a little
I don't
slower. But if you're
I don't
not
think
going,
this
but
is
if
I
you're
don't
not
think
going,
this is filler.
it's
Like
definitely filler.
no, see,
This
I
is
don't think it is filler
absolutely
because
filler compared
this
to
is
what we've had
this
before.
is them going to the new world
I mean,
and
Could
getting
have done it
details. This 100%
better.
is not filler. It's
Hey.
just not good.
it's just
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well, I think what the not getting enough action speaks to is the fact that even though I liked last week's episode, it was not a satisfying conclusion to the Devimon arc. Like there was a lot of supernatural force going on to kind of push them towards a win as opposed to them earning it for themselves. Like if you're going to beat Devimon, who is kind of the big bad for this, the first 26 episodes, you want them to earn it.
I
And they
think
didn't do that. And so it feels like that arc should not be over yet. So if they're complaining about a lack of action, I can kind of understand that because this arc doesn't feel like it's over yet.
see, I'd say it's almost more like trying to think of the way I want to word this. The show isn't what we want it to be, which I don't think any of the three of us would disagree with it at the moment. And we've said it jokingly, the audience effectively is tuning in and expecting Digimon Ball Z every week at this point.
It's a little concerning. I mean, as far as the show not being what I want it to be, I think the issue is that it's not even getting close to what we would expect a Digimon series to be.
No,
In
and I
that,
think
and it's not that it's what I want it to be. Like what I would want in a Digimon series is nowhere close to this, and it was never going to be.
no.
But as far as just the bare minimum of things you expect out of a Digimon series, like having characters, that I think should be expected in a Digimon series, whether all of this, action and story that is continually
Look,
building on itself.
I know how we can fix this. What if we tape printouts to the TV and just play an episode of Cheers?
If they put the dialogue of an episode of Cheers over the action going on, I think it would be an improvement.
Actually, an episode of Coach may work better. Less characters.
Ooh. Also, Coach occasionally actually does have football games, so there is that action involved. You're onto something.
Or just slap on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Nah.
That's more for Appmon.
Shenanigans.
But yeah, so
Oh no, wait, that's 02.
yeah.
So
So
that
we,
for 02.
so
and
we
you're
get
on,
them
you got it.
falling. The Mamemon show up en masse, and I think it's quite obvious why they use the Mamemons.
So they can murder them.
No. Because even doing copy paste, they're really easy to animate and having them look roughly correct no matter what.
They're very round.
Yes. Like even if you draw them slightly off, no one's really going to notice.
Mm-hmm. And as much of it does help with the finale they have. As much of a cop out as that climax was.
Do you know how many people are upset by that? I've seen a lot of people very upset about that going, they've never said in a profile that Big Mamemon can bounce like a balloon.
Oh, they're complaining about the lore?
I've seen multiple people complain that nothing in his profile suggests that he's buoyant. Or that he
bounced.
But yeah, I've actually seen a number of people actually like upset about that. That they're not balloons. That's never come up before. Ever. How dare they do this?
Yeah, no, the
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not defending this episode, but I'm not
Yeah.
taking the bait on that one.
Yeah,
It's like they can invent whatever physics they want
Yeah.
for whatever Digimon they want to.
Yeah, I'm as happy with the bouncing as I am Energy Mugen Shimon and Energy War Greymon. I'm
Right.
not bothered
Yeah.
by the bouncing at all.
All of that is just fine. The real complaint with that is that they spend the entire episode acting like Agumon and Gabumon can't digivolve, and when they write themselves into a corner, they go, what? Let's just scream real loud.
I'm not bothered by that for one reason. They both did make it clear they were tired. In the end, they did it anyways, and then right after, they were completely conked out, basically.
That they're going to evolve next episode anyway. They will not get a break.
Yeah, and the episode will start with us seeing them eating, thereby using the plot armor that we've had since Adventure of character eating equals okay.
If they actually do, are they actually, is that like a preview thing that you saw that they're going to be eating at the start of next episode? Because I don't think they're smart enough to do that.
I'm just saying they could do that, or even just have it be that they've been floating there and not comment on how long it's been.
Or they've just been eating the Mamemon.
Yeah,
they ate the Mamemon.
But here's the thing: there's not gonna be a lot of meat there. We saw that they pop, so they're basically just balloons.
Okay, they ate Falcomon. He was real quiet this episode. Happy Thanksgiving.
But where are the sides? But yeah, so okay, and so oddly, that's almost exactly the main plot. Like we've gone over it.
Yeah, they fall for the whole episode. That's it.
So the bee thing's weirder because, and I said in the chat room, did I fucking miss the Algomon getting destroyed? Are they supposed to still be there? Weren't they still there?
I believe you're right. I do not think they ever resolved the Algomon.
They just went to a different spot, and it's like, okay, these ones are yellow.
They heard my complaints about the Algomon being there feeling like it was episode 2 or 3 again, and they decided to switch them to Zurumon to switch it up.
Good. Are you happy now, AR?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it was weird because it was just weird because this is like Zurumon's causing problems now. It's like this problem was already here with the Algomon. Like
it's Algomon with a mustache.
Like I didn't have a stroke, did I? The multiple boats was happening last episode. I remember us even going.
No, everything that was happening last episode in the B plot is still happening this episode. Nothing has progressed. All 4 kids are still huddled under a gazebo in the park, staring at a computer screen like they have for the last 10 episodes.
We got to see something important though. We got to see
Hikari showed up.
No, we got to see Joe mock other people. And he's very pleased with himself, and Mimi's very upset.
You can see we're grasping at straws when the biggest character thing that we're harping on is Mimi being an airhead, and we're like happy about that.
And then Hikari's just standing there, which
Hikari is just boring. Yeah, she's do nothing.
I'm perfectly happy with that, especially with the number of. This is another case where it feels like people got upset about the wrong thing, where people going, "Well, how did she get there?" And it's like. I'm pretty sure, like most of them walked from their home. They're not like Koshiro walked there. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and
he lives in the same building.
Hikari, we know Hikari's a cryptid. Like that's established.
I like Sora's
face. We in the same apartment complex.
Yeah, we weren't sure about Takeru, but we weren't sure about Takeru being a cryptid, but we knew Hikari was, so Hikari can do whatever she wants.
Sora's face when she showed up was great. When Sora just sort of turns and Hikari's just standing there. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to be huddled under there for at least one more episode until Hikari magically intervenes and they're going to save the day.
This is what everyone demanded. Everyone demanded that, you can't just knock characters off the table like you didn't try. This is what you get. This is what you get when you don't do that. You get having to find some random thing for them to do, and they're just standing there.
I mean, right now they're about as active as the 02 kids were in Try.
Yeah, but we know they're alive.
How long have they been standing under that gazebo, do you think? Has it really only been a couple hours, or has it been like a day or two?
I took it as basically just an hour or so.
couple hours.
Because originally they weren't under a gazebo. Originally they were at a bench.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They
Maybe
only
it
went.
rained.
They only went under the gazebo right before Mimi and Joe got there. Benchgate 2020.
Gonna
Yeah.
be having a photo, going back and watching the tape to see when they moved from the bench to the gazebo. Either way, if they've only been there for a couple hours, that means that Taichi and Yamato have been through all that in the span of a couple hours.
To be fair,
Really great day
like
for them.
to be fair
There's
though,
still
like
the time distortion. The deeper you are in the digital world.
I'm
I thought that was
So-
gone.
I think that's
they got
gone.
rid of the distortion. Yeah.
I figured
That-
that was just how the digital world works. Like the closer you are
Well,
to the
no,
real
they said
world,
it. They
the
said that
more
it,
time
they,
speeds up.
but they said that was gone.
Yeah, the time distortion went when the fake world did.
They never have clarified if we're supposed to take it as being back, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either, and I
Yeah.
don't think the writers are putting enough thought into whether it should be or not.
I don't think
They
it really
just
matters.
stopped thinking.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think it matters if the distortion's there or not, because they sort of got rid of it right after introducing it by having Koshiro just go, the Digivices think everything up, blah 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 blah. That basically means that they can screw up communication whenever they have to, and they can still do that. So I'm not super bothered by that.
Same time, at some point, I imagine that everybody's going to be back in the digital world again for a prolonged time, and that's going to be presumably real time, which should be creating some issues if they're gone for like 2 weeks. Like, they got into enough trouble, some of them, for being gone for 2 days. And now, potentially down the road, they're going to be gone for a couple weeks at a time, and that's something that should be addressed that probably won't be.
Yeah. Is that all we have to say about this episode?
Oh, I have a lot to say about this episode, but you can read my blog for that.
Yeah.
I would just point out that, according to my rankings, every single episode of Appmon that wasn't the recap episode finished graded higher than this episode. Other than the Mari Pero episode. That was
I will say this: I am still confused by how many people on social media love this episode.
Yeah, there's no reason to love this episode, folks.
I mean, Patamon is cute, and Leomon's like, holy
No,
shit,
no,
that's
no.
the Holy Digimon, what the fuck?
No. I don't mean like one single thing going, that's great. I mean people liking the episode.
That's
Oh,
weird.
liking the episode. Yeah, if you don't have any taste, you can go ahead and like the episode. That's fine. But loving the episode is a different story.
And then
Loving the episode, I'm wondering what's wrong with you.
And then next week we get Break Through the Sea Monster Barricade, where I'm
Sounds
still
like another token villain.
Yeah, I'm more amused by the because I was gonna say what happens in it based on the screenshot of the extended preview, because I don't want to pull it up because we'll play the audio, and I'm pretty sure that screenshot's from the wrong episode, because I'm pretty sure that is them fighting Mamamon from this episode. So someone put up the wrong thumbnail. So, oh well.
Yeah.
We'll get to see them fighting Evolving Seadramon's next episode.
Do you think
And-
Falcomon's light meat or dark meat?
Wouldn't it be both?
I think it's
Probably.
mostly dark meat because, he's
Yeah.
kind of proportionately a lot of thigh.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Although, would it be different for the other Falcomon?
Ooh. Now we're asking the real questions.
Yeah, moving on from our horrible attempt at jokes. It is
Hungry now.
anniversary time. It's the 5th anniversary of Tri and the 22nd for V-Tamer.
Oh, things that were actually entertaining.
I'm just amused that it's the same day for both of them.
It is sort of weird because not that that doesn't happen in April with the big pileup of every series premiering, but it is weird that it's the exact same day for both.
Yeah. The days just happened to line up, which makes it very interesting because I don't think anything was said about that when Tri began. I think they were so focused on Tri. I don't think much came up about V-Tamer at the time.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is-
also it also would have been a weird number anniversary for V-Tamer. Not that
Yeah,
it
that's
stops
true.
not that it stops anybody now, but back then they weren't quite as active on Twitter about pushing that sort of thing, and it would have been the 17th anniversary. Like on the
Yeah.
20th anniversary, yeah, you'd see them doing something big for V-Tamer, but I don't remember if they did, but I'm sure they acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Didn't they mention something about, like, isn't that around when they released the digital versions on the Kindle or something like that?
I think
Somewhere around there.
I think it was a more around try 2 or 3, I think. It gets confusing because when they don't have enough stuff to talk about in VJump, they tend to fill it with, "Hey, do you remember V-Tamer is available?" So it gets a bit jumbled. Although it certainly has been a year for V-Tamer. Actually, both V-Tamer and Tri have oddly gotten a lot of stuff in the last year, considering they're both done, and there's far more relevant stuff to talk about this year. Because we got the wink wink, not a V-Tamer figure. We got a
Was
new
that
chapter.
this year? Was that still this year?
Yeah.
That felt like it was last year already.
The figure was
2020's
only
done a number on us.
the figure was only like 2 months ago.
Oh, jeez.
It got
Yeah,
the
I
new
finally got it.
This year, oh my god.
yeah, it got the new chapter, which digital release should be coming up soon. They announced it. And Try's oddly got stuff. It got the box with the new labels and all that. We got the best of album. I was actually surprised they did any Try products when Kazuna was coming out. The main one I remember was it a postcard where there was Adventure, Try, and Kazuna for it?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they started using that art in other products.
Mm-hmm. And Try, some of the screenshots showed up in the packaging along with Adventure in 02 and Kazuna. That was...
Oh yeah, that I forgot about that entirely, where the back was all the screenshots and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Try card came out this time. I'm sure we'll get to that later, but...
Yeah. And then our favorite subject to talk about and to get people upset at us about, poll results. So,
I always look forward to those.
Which Digimon do you think is the smartest? So, let's go ahead and go over these. Number 1 is Ancient Wise One. That feels far too fans paying attention for me.
Yeah, that's a little too smart.
You know what?
I feel like that's a cabal of fans going, okay, Wisemon's the obvious answer here. How can we?
No. You know what I think this is? I think this is one where just a lot of people didn't answer it at all. Because there's some choices later to suggest as such, I think. Because here's the thing. Number 2 is Wisemon.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Number 3, that's fair because he was in Cross Wars and.
But
I'm
saying,
Wisemon is that's
no. I agree. But what I mean is I don't think you get both of them that high up unless it's just a poll that doesn't happen to have a lot of people responding. And there's some stuff later to perhaps suggest that. So number 3 is Nanomon. Nanomon's actually a really good choice that I didn't think of at all.
Yeah, I don't think we had that one at all, but that's a good one.
Yeah. Now, number 4 is one that if it had been number 1, I would not have been shocked, and it's Agumon Hakase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's got a lab coat.
Yeah.
Surprised that Terriermon isn't on here.
Tentomon, I don't think any of us called.
No, but it fits.
It does. It especially fits when it's not necessarily that Tentomon is presented as a smart character, but he's always the one who knows stuff and explains stuff, which makes him very easy to remember.
He's the floating exposition buggy.
Yeah, I know we've talked about how casuals really aren't participating in this poll, but I think that if you are a casual participating in this poll, Tentomon would be the really obvious choice to go with.
And then for number 6, Duftmon, which is interesting choice.
It's doing better on that one than his Royal Knights finish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those weird ones. That's one of those where you almost wonder if people voted for him just out of feeling bad for him for the Royal Knights finish.
My God, that's a pity vote for Duftmon after he got last in the Royal Knights poll.
Yeah. Number 7, we have a tie between Ebimon and Bagramon.
Bagramon's an interesting choice. I like that choice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Then number 9, the tie between Mugandramon and Rasilmon. People were really upset by Mugandramon, but his profile that is one of those cases where if you that's your thing, profile and generic lore, he actually is often presented as intelligent or planning.
He's very calculating, that's for sure.
I assume
Yeah.
there's a calculator in there somewhere. Racilmon's
Yeah,
another one of those where it's a lore vote. Generically.
sure.
Because
I would
it's
not guess that one at all.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised it finished as high as it did. Like, I'm
I think
surprised it finished above Wizardmon.
I think it did because I remember a good number of people on social media going, "Well, her profile says her ability is she knows everything, so we should vote for her." I remember something like that coming up.
People really need to stop reading the profiles. It's throwing them off.
Number 11's Wizardmon. That's an
That's-
anime vote.
That one feels-
Definitely.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. It also because
fits.
of that, it feels low to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think he should have been higher.
Number 12, tie between Jijimon, Shakamon, Vadamon, and Lucamon X.
So
Jijimon
cast
I
of
can
characters
definitely
there.
see because
I don't
he's kinda
agree.
like
I don't disagree
in a
with any
lot
of
of
these.
games.
yeah, Jijimon for sure.
Yeah.
Betamon, yeah, sure.
I mean, he's your
Lucamon-
walking tutorial for like the Digimon World game. So.
Yeah, he's your default tutorial guy. Lucamon X is, I find, kind of interesting. Like,
I
not
think
wrong. It's just interesting.
it is. 16 the tie. Let's start with the last one first, which is Lucamon, then Alphamon, then Omegamon. This is another one that set people off, that Alphamon and Omegamon ended up there. You knew they were going to.
It's very amusing that they're tied. It's also
Yeah.
very amusing that Omegamon just showed up in the poll in general. Like, I think were we joking about that before, that
Yeah.
Omegamon was going to get a ton of votes just because he's Omegamon?
Yes,
Yeah,
and he did.
Lo and behold.
Yep, here we are.
Yeah. And then number 19. Okay, Seraphimon makes perfect sense. Because
Why, sure.
Seraphimon.
Sure.
Angel, he's supposed to be intelligent. Numamon's like the troll vote.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
There is no reason for Numamon to be there outside of that very clearly a group got together to try to troll. I
Mhm.
don't see any possibility that people actually voted for him in any fashion.
At the same time, I kind of want Numamon Hakase now. I think that would be adorable.
Okay. On one condition. Instead of the coat, all he has is the little graduation hat thing.
On his eyes? On his eye stalks?
No,
Yeah.
like right behind his eye stalks.
Oh.
What
But
if he
where-
also wears fancy like Coke bottle glasses?
Yes.
Okay, yes, that I'm trying to figure out how. I assume they would just be floating there with no explanation.
Yes.
That is acceptable to me. And then the current poll is choose your favorite Pendulum Z group, which we'll have answers for that soon enough. Because
Yeah,
that's not.
we discussed that last week too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We cast our votes for that.
I don't even remember what I voted for, to be honest. I absolutely don't. But it ends in a few days, so we'll see what pops up. And then product stuff, and I'm pretty sure I put up the thing for the giant sticker, and then 10 minutes later there was a message from Dev cursing. Is that correct, Dev?
Yes, because I need the thing.
You need the
Yeah.
fat heads?
Yeah, it is giant fucking wall stickers with. It's weird. These look like CGI renders, but it almost feels like they might not be. It almost feels like this might just be like artistic shading. And I'm not sure why I think that, because they look like renders to me.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like that painterly effect
Yeah.
on like the claws and
Yeah.
stuff.
And they've
Mhm.
clarified they're making these to order. If you do not pre-order them, you will not get them. They will not. That's it for them. So,
Still a
would
little
hope
sad
for-
there isn't a Gabumon sticker.
well, when you buy it, Dev, and it does well, they'll do more. We'll get.
I mean,
Gabu-
Gabumon is part of Omegamon, so he's there in spirit.
Yeah, but they also cut off his head. Yeah, so these pre-orders close December 25th, ships in March. If you want them, you better pre-order them because they're going to be done with that. The character shop pulled up a bunch of new products, so we do not get Funny Necked Sora this time. Hooray. The art looks... Am I wrong, or does Mimi look the best in the art here and Koshiro looks weird?
They all look a little weird to me. Like, Mimi
Tailmon looks really weird to me.
Yeah, Mimi looks a little weird. On the buttons, it's kind of weird because Hikari has like you can't if you look at the button, it looks like that those might be Hikari's legs, and then you see the full picture and it's Hikari's fingers. That like throws me off somehow.
And Gomamon, the side of Gomamon's face looks kind of like
It's a bit too fat.
pulled out. Yeah.
Tentomon, see, with Tentomon they get the cheat because he doesn't fucking have a mouth. So it's just, hey look, it's Tentomon, and they've drawn a slightly different effect on him this time. And then Fuji opened another of their Fuji-san line of shops, and it has an exclusive acrylic stands, which this was the art that showed up like right before the show started, right? I think it's just a map of the area underneath them. And then they did another teaser for Project VB, which I'm trying to decide if this is actually a screen because something looks very strange about this to me. I mean, it kind of looks like it might be a resistive touchscreen, but something looks wrong with it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I haven't put any thought into Project VB.
Send your
Me
hate
either, honestly.
send your hate mail to AR and Dev. I tried, everyone. And that
yeah, I'm not going to try to speculate on what the teasers could mean. I'm not going to dissect.
Well, I'm more just trying to figure out what type of
it just
screen
looks
it
like
is because
it's
it looks
on
weird.
crochet mesh.
Oh, how happy would everyone be if it was just like it's Digimon crocheting?
I mean, my wife would love that.
I would also love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that Premium Bandai's doing their Black Friday, mostly shipping coupons, but they did announce new card stuff without telling anyone what the fuck it is. The image is so small it's hard to tell, but I'm pretty sure it's a playmat and sleeves using the Asmaria art. Which, good art, but it'd be nice if they tell us what it is. They literally just say the Digimon card game Tamer set. So, $30 if you get the coupon. And then
yeah, my friend linked me that. It's like I have no clue what this is, and also money.
I'm 100% guessing what it is because I don't know what else those would be. And it's such a small image you can't even really zoom in to look. But yeah, and then Pendulum Z2 pre-orders end in just a few days. They showed off the Jagras function, which, I mean, they've been talking about that for a long time, since the original ones. They also showed all 6 together. And they went over the Z2 evolution charts again, while still hiding the last few, which we already know because people have already gotten them and did data mining.
Oh.
Hooray. Yeah. And VJump was thin this month outside of card stuff. The main one was Beelzebumon X will be showing up in Rear Rise. They showed off the Pendulum Z2s. They showed off the Versus figure. And we got a tiny little bar for the Adventure and O2 Blu-ray box, which made people go, will it have subtitles? And the answer is no. It's the same disc. It's the same discs. They're not changing anything. And card game stuff, they kind of went nuts over the last week. So we got.
When do they don't? When do they not go nuts over card stuff?
They've gone a bit overboard the last few weeks, though, it feels like more so. Even more so than when Booster 3 has come out. So our first preview of Booster Set 4 is Plutomon, and no one is going to convince me that this is meant to be colored black. This is fucking blue. I'm not having the fucking dress argument again. If this is meant to be black, the art is screwed up. It's not lit as black as blue light on black. It's blue.
I'm not getting into.
It came across as gunmetal.
Gunmetal blue.
Gunmetal blue.
Yes. I will accept gunmetal blue and steel blue. I will not accept it's black with blue lighting. No. Then we got some more previews from Booster Set 4. Okay, so the Victory Greymon art, this bothers me because it's kind of just his normal pose, isn't it? It's just like a redraw of him standing there with the sword. I swear we've seen this exact pose from him like 10 times.
I'm pretty positive it was also in the the manga.
Yeah, this is like his basic pose. So then Nidhoggmon, a lot of people didn't seem to realize it was him. I mean, it looks like him to me, but
I mean, but he made such an impression in his anime appearance.
and look, it's everyone. It's little known Digimon Wargreymon. It's so nice that he's gotten car. Has he been in every booster set so far?
You could make an entire deck out of
Yes.
Wargreymons at this point.
Hey, but we have Ognimon, and we finally find out the twist for the Frontier characters. You evolve them out of Tamer cards.
Oh,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
that's
So
kind of.
then we also get Shine Greymon looking very Shine Greymon-y. And we also get, why don't I remember his name? Beowulfmon. He looks exactly like the other one, so my brain froze on his name.
At some point, the Garurumon
Yeah.
evolutions just sort of.
Like he
Yeah.
looks like Wolfmon, but then
Yeah.
there's like an extra weapon
Yeah,
over there somewhere.
It's one of those things
Yeah.
where I 100% remembered it was not Wolfmon and that it was the combination, and then like the name just left my head. So then we have.
Well, I mean, it's such a departure going from Wolfmon to something inspired by classic literature.
Yeah. And then the new starter decks are out later this week, and we have all the art, and we had a lot of this before, but not all of it. But some of them are really good this time. And it's hard to keep saying that and sound honest, but like looking at the Kenji Watanabe Devimon card, which features what appears to be AR's favorite scene from any anime so far. Him using the Miasma Claws.
I was
How
okay with Miasma Claws.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
You don't think
the
that
Miasma Claws? I suppose
you complained about them the whole time.
Non-Devimon's Miasma arms were good. The plasma, I mean, the idea of the Miasma Claws are okay. It was the way they were drawn that was the problem. They're drawn way better in this card.
Okay, fair enough. That is absolutely true.
I think my favorite's probably the Virus Elecmon because God, I just want to cuddle it.
Yeah, I remember we got that card. Like 10 different people were very excited by him showing up, and it's weird because he is like the most basic lazy of repaints. And I believe the actual name is just Violecmon, isn't it?
I think only one game used that somewhere.
Okay, so it's just
like,
Elecmon then?
Yes, one era. It's just Elecmon.
The card just says Elecmon, yeah.
Okay, that's fine then. And then we already had the art, but it felt good to put them in a central place. The second Tamer Battle Pack along with the winner's card. The first two Scene Vote cards, which we've already seen. And then, let's see, where's that? Here we go. We got to see a few more. We got to see the packaging for Booster Set 4, which I don't think anyone's shocked that it's the promo poster. The third Tamer Battle Pack actually has some really interesting choices in Digimon and in art. So, Monzemon, and he's sitting in the chair from Digimon World. And the little Edamon plush is amazing. Megalo Gromon. Rise Greymon showed up a lot recently, isn't he? And then the perfect version of Algomon, but from the Savers movie, which people were very happy to see this also. And the winner's card is Rise Greymon again. And then AR, you mentioned earlier, the Tri card. Have you seen what the effect is?
I do not know what the effect is. I was just looking at the title, and it's like, oh, that's cute. The Kokohaku.
The effect is, when you have a tamer named Takeru Takashi in play, put one of your Digimon cards named Patamon to the bottom of your security face down, discard that Digimon's Digivolution sources, and then security feature, add this card to your hand. So you chuck Patamon out, basically. Which is brilliant.
Yeet.
Yeah. Then Fun Digica did an episode basically just going over rules since Booster Set 3 came out recently. And then Card Battle did their preview with. I guess they're doing 2 episodes of battles an episode now, and people seem to like those. Am I wrong, or does it feel like that they've been subtitling so many promotional videos that it would actually benefit them to subtitle this and Fun Digica, especially with the card game coming out? Am I
It
wrong,
really
or does it
would,
seem like they
especially
should
'cause,
do
like,
that?
I mean, when people go searching for it, that's what pops up. So.
Yeah. And then one of the big batches of news they announced, and it kind of felt like they were going this way, Bandai TCG Online Lobby, where they're doing a little Sprite online system for basically online tournaments and events and card games. There'll be stuff you can buy. I wish they would clarify if the stuff you could buy is digital or physical, because it sounds like it's meant to be physical to me, like like event sleeves, shit like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They don't quite clarify. And I like how they mentioned there will be staff that will throw people out when necessary.
Yay.
Yeah, so the first test for the service will be the Digimon card game. So we'll see how that works out. It feels like part of launching this is to have it ready for the US, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, the US card game is out. The early release is Friday. The full release is January, but various local card shops are allowed to do it now, so we got a bunch of crap. First up, the V-Tamer tie card is, well, they're changing the text of it just to, clarify details a bit. The 1.5 box will have the corrected ones. The normal ones can be used in the game, but you have to take into account the changed text. They put up a bunch of rule documents. They're doing online tournaments in December in actually all over the world. It's nice that when it's a U.S. English focused thing where they already are dealing with other countries and regions, they've already announced events for U.S., Canada, Latin America, Europe, and Oceania, which is nice for them to
Nice.
do.
Yeah.
And the prizes are basically all stuff that was sold in Japan, but there's also a box showing off artwork from the new starter decks, which, gee, I wonder if we will get those soon. Cough, cough, which I believe they've already been up for order at card shops. They just aren't formally announcing it. And then pre-orders are up for what everyone's looking forward to. Booster Set 5 Battle of Event. It's time to place your bets, and everyone in the chat and anyone listening after the fact, feel free to email us and let us know how many Omegamon cards are in here. And here's the thing. I was going to say Omegamon related, but that you could count Agumon. So here's what we'll do. Anything you look at, you go, that's either Omegamon or it's a riff on Omegamon, counts. So Omegamon counts, Chaosdramon counts, Susanumon counts. Anything that you could reasonably go, this is meant to be a takeoff on Omegamon. How many Omegamon cards do you think we get?
How many cards are in total?
Too many.
Okay, there are 112 cards, but here's the key. I don't think anything, unless minus maybe Omegamon, these are going to be super rare and secret rares, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
There's only 12 of those. So I'm going to say 2 or 3. Because I'm also not sure the names are quite as hyper literal as everyone takes them. Like, Great Legends clearly supposed to be a Greymon set, but we've seen plenty of non-Greymon stuff in it anyway.
I don't have that much faith in them. I'm going to go with 8.
Going high.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid 5.
I remember when I said that you can have an entire deck of War Greymons.
Oh, you could.
You can have an entire deck of Omegamons.
Yeah, but how many are you allowed to have in a deck?
I believe you can have the same card 4 times, but it only counts as the same card if it's the same number.
Yeah, you have different different types of Omegamon in your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a parallel card counts as the same card, but a card from a different booster starter deck does not.
Right.
So there's been 3 or 4 War Greymon so far. Each of those are its own card, unless you have a parallel card, and then it counts as the same card. So, yeah, and Sing in our chat pulls. This is the one that everyone was like, "Will they use him?" I don't think they will. I do not believe they will use Ometamon. Ometamon was a very nice joke, and while I expect they will try to use him somewhere, I don't think this is where you use him. I think if you're going to use him, you have to have more Metabots. So we will see.
Yeah.
That's it for the card game, which they really have been going nuts with that lately. And the contest ended a while ago, but it took a while to get everything going. So we have the winners and prizes were sent out. Hopefully everyone has them by now. At least one got lost in the mail. And part of the delay was, I think Dev knew this. I don't remember if you did, AR. I won a contest from Toei during this.
Oh.
So
You did not mention that.
Yeah. So when I get the message from Toei saying, "Hey, you won, give us your information," I'm like, just to confirm, I'm doing a contest with Shout. Is that an issue? They're like, well, did you win the movie from Shout? And I'm like, I didn't. I don't think the movie's even in the prize pack, but they did give me a copy to review. They're like, it's fine. So they sent the prize pack, which it kind of strange that it didn't include the movie. Now that I think about it, and I simply split everything up and added more prizes for the contest to give to more people.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So including AR's beloved Digimon. How is the water bottle doing, AR?
It's some of the Digimon are mostly intact. Patamon is starting to look like his what happens after he his card.
Yeah. So we won't go over all the entries, but yeah, we put up the picture ones there. Picture ones were very good. I'm still impressed that one person actually made a crossword puzzle. And not only that, they mapped out one of the answers was what our podcast movie special was going to be before we did it, and mapped out the numbers correctly.
Oh wow,
that is impressive.
Based on when I had said the episode was going to be. So yeah. Yeah. Many people cosplaying as Miyako.
That's not a bad thing.
No. Yeah, so all the entries at the site, and anyone else who entered, feel free to toss yours in. I only put up the winners because it felt like it'd be mean to throw up just lists and lists of them. And then we have...
Yeah, it's like, look at all these people that were... Look at all these people that I was impressed with, but didn't actually get anything.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you could write, you could do art, you could do whatever. There were I believe the number of entries blew away every contest combined we've ever done.
Damn.
So it was hard to even rank them because it was like, okay, this person sent in this, and I put that in a notepad file, and then the next one, this one I'd rank a bit below, so I put it below that one, and then higher, and I ended up with just this giant notepad file, and I had to keep going back and forth to figure out what the hell I was looking at. And then we have art. So first up, reference book update for Omegamon Merciful Mode. And Dev forgot to remind me again, but I remember this time, Tenya Yabuno drawing Neo Devimon art and congratulating him on his success and showing up in the anime. Which is nice of him because, as we know, he doesn't allow anything to show up anywhere. Anyone who does not get why that's funny will be very confused, but it's good-looking art, and I just like the way, congratulations on your success. And he was dead by the end of the episode.
He lasted half. Yeah, Neo Devimon lasted half an episode. Congrats on the success.
Yeah. And then we got the nice large profile art of Mamimon and Big Mamimon.
I suppose tweeting thanks for showing up would be a little sarcastic.
And then
Kenji
Watanabe keeps blowing everyone away. And it's weird that to say, to almost be surprised he does it because he's the primary artist of the franchise. But it's almost more like weekly riffings than it is the more formal drawings he often does. So there's a lot more life to it, it feels like. So here he drew Mamimon a bunch of times, and as far as I can tell, I don't think any of these are copy-pasted.
No, they're all...
Yeah,
and then
big...
it's a proper bean feast.
Yeah, and then
Nom, nom,
Big
nom, 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 nom,
Mommymon
nom,
looking
nom.
creepy in the back. This almost could be Belphemon in the back. I mean, Belphemon doesn't smile, but
his eyes are too far
Yeah.
wide open.
The Mommymons are basically how I feel.
yeah, but yeah, good looking art, and tonight
My mods are on something.
I really do hope we get to see that through the show. It feels like at some point he's not going to have the time, but we can hope.
I mean, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do a recap episode at some point, I'm sure. So
Well,
he might
also,
take
does
off for that
he-
one.
Well, there's a good chance that he might kind of like know the episodes ahead of time and
Oh, I'm
just
sure he
do a whole
does.
bunch of the little things at once. So instead of like sitting down to do it once every week, he might just crank out like a couple in a row
Well,
and then
no,
just
it
save them.
appears he actually is doing it weekly because a few times he's even pointed out that, oh, I'm not at home, so this one's a bit rougher, or was one of them. He said he was busy with a doll show, so the art was not as cleaned up as normal. I think he's actually doing them every week.
Huh.
That would also explain why they don't show up until hours after the episode airs. Because you'd think he'd like get it done and throw it up right when the episode ends in Japan. Instead, it's hours later. I'm not saying he's starting when the show ends, because there's a few times when he said he hasn't had time to watch yet. But I think he's just drawing it, and that just happens to be what he's doing. Yeah, and then we have questions. So in the chat, feel free to throw it up while we go over the ones sent ahead of time. Yume asked, we've had several 15th anniversary of the Digivice D3 and D-Arc, along with a few CSA versions of the Digivice and D3. Do you think we'll see a continuation of these lines of products from older seasons, namely an anniversary version of the D-Scanner or a CSA of the D-Arc? The answer is maybe. At one point, they were asking if we wanted those. I think that was a premium Bandai poll where they like listed. I don't think they called it anniversary, but like they did say, did you want an updated version of the D-Scanner? Then they were asking about other CSAs. I think they asked about a Did they ask about an anniversary crossloader? I feel like we talked about that at one point.
I don't recall seeing it, but I would expect like if we're getting any of the CSA stuff or like the D-Arc, it'd probably be like the Staccato's Ultimate D-Arc.
Ooh, yeah.
It feels like
Yeah.
it feels like the anniversary D-Arc tanked. It is one of the only times when we never got a follow up to one of those. It's hard to take that as being that it did well. Especially,
I do think that I'm still with you on a definite maybe on that one, especially next year, because that's the 20th for Tamers, isn't it? I think they could give a
it would be 20
CSA
for
another
Tamers.
try.
See, here's the thing. Because prior to that one, they'd always done second waves. Generally, they would do one. So you had Takato and Ruki for the first wave. The second wave could have either been Jianling or it could have just been the ultimate one. That they didn't do either kind of feels like it tells us how those sold. And 20th anniversary is when you could probably get away with doing one or two more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like they have to make anything new because they already have like the molds and everything for the updated one anyway.
Yeah, I get the feeling they will decide if they're going to do that based on how the it's not a guarantee, but it feels like that's the type of thing where you look at the Digivice Complete. Where does it work one more time, especially in the case of Tamers when I'm not sure, like, do you add the Tamers 2018 audio drama stuff to it? Is there?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but what I mean is what do you add to a Tamers one that's not there from the 15th one?
I mean, you've got Guilmon's voice actress on retainer for the new anime.
Yeah, that's true. You can literally just have
her record something random.
Yeah. It will just be a narration saying, "Thank you for purchasing this. You will not get a Terrormon version."
Guilmon recapping the recent episode of the reboot.
And Renemon's actress has retired. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to one in chat. Okay, Ramon wants to know, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food that is not named Falcomon?
Good
Hmm.
question.
Yeah,
I'm
Dev,
glad you
Dev,
made
why
that
don't
clarification
yeah.
because I probably would have made
yeah,
that joke.
I think Ramon's been here long enough that he knows we'll go for the joke answer when necessary.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Dev, why don't you go first?
Nom.
That's not a food.
Stuffing mon.
Okay, stuffing is an acceptable answer. AR,
Mashed potatoes.
yeah, I
Jagamon.
don't really like
Jack
holiday
Amon.
food, so I'm gonna say rolls.
Oh, rolls are good if there's enough care put into them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Rolls can be a highlight of a holiday dinner. We had
well,
a
see, in
really good roll recipe in the family.
my case, I do like rolls, but most of the stuff served at Thanksgiving, I just don't like. So it's
That's
sort of
fair.
like what was the one? It was like a month ago. Someone asked us what's our favorite X, and or what's the one we don't like. Oh, it was pineapple. Where I kind of just went, I don't like pineapple, so I can't really answer the pizza question.
I don't like. Yeah, because I remember saying like I don't like warm pineapple. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm weird about certain textures.
I ended up trying it after that episode, and it was incredibly meh.
Then the
Although
next question,
dried pineapple is really nice.
Ooh, yeah, I can see
pineapple,
that.
the only food that eats you.
Yes.
Supposed to take the skin off of it though before you maybe try that. That would help.
No, I'm talking about the pineapple itself. The enzymes actually break down your mouth.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, that's why you get that like nice little tingle because it's actually trying to attack you.
Yeah.
Mmm.
And then next question.
That's why it's really good for tenderizers and marinades.
Yes, because it's literally breaking down the meat. And then we get the weirdest asides, don't we? Like, we really do. Someone wants to know, will there be a Digimonica this year? The answer is maybe.
Baby's a popular answer today.
Well, it's a case of it is very hard to make sure enough stuff is prepped and writing for 8 days in a row, especially when I'm mathing out in my head if I'll be doing work in the middle of those 8 days. So we're effectively at the point where I get new work tomorrow. So I have tonight to do prepping, and then I believe Hanukkah starts on the 10th this year. I expect I'll be done on the 7th and 8th, so I have to do as much prepping as possible in those 2 or 3 days if it's going to happen. So
that, and there's also like I usually contribute
yes.
at least a decent chunk of it. So it's like,
Yes.
okay, what haven't we used
Well, and
before?
that's the other weird thing. Very often, the stuff that's saved to put up for it is strange odds and ends that don't make sense to put up anywhere else. We've burned through most of that stuff. So it'd be like, for example, I have the Tri Collection set from earlier this year. I haven't had time to edit the scans yet, though. Does that come across as a little boring to do that? There's the Adventure 2020 CD. I think there's one Kazuna CD I didn't do.
I have a couple of things floating around in my room.
But yeah,
so...
it's one of those things where we're no longer at the point where there's odds and ends. It's where it's stuff that's been missed before. So we'll see what pops up. The expectation is yes, but it may not. It may be that stuff just goes up early in January, randomly. So we'll see.
It's like, what has Dev been hoarding the past couple of years?
Yeah. Okay. Singh wants to know, do you think they'll throw us a bone and release the card game app in India?
Can I do this
I
one?
don't
Can I do
know.
this one? Maybe.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's not like it's it's practice. It's are animation mistakes a symptom of a deeper issue with the production of a show? Not often. Sometimes, but there's been nothing. I assume this is meant to complain about the animation for Adventure. There's nothing that's looked problematic here, don't you think?
Oh, the original Adventure?
No, I assume they're talking about the new one because people keep complaining about the animation.
Really?
It looks really nice, especially
It's
compared to like
fine.
previous
Yeah.
ones.
But yeah, the problem is you have people where they've been told what is nice in animation, and when they don't see that, they just complain.
Ugh.
and they expect every episode.
There's a lot to complain about with this new series. The animation
No.
is, compared to what we've had in the past, certainly not one of the things to have
Yeah.
issue with.
Okay. Then Ian would like to know, did Toei ever confirm or at least suggest that the Adventure 20th celebration was shortened due to the pandemic or merely delayed? Not much was really. Oh, I thought he was talking about the anniversary stuff. He's talking about the show, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's suggesting like it was originally pitched at 66
No.
episodes. Do we think
No,
that's going to be
see-
shortened? Or
see,
yeah.
I would assume that it was. I would have assumed that it probably would have been originally pitched as a year, and the pandemic delaying stuff made them go, okay, we'll just lengthen the show and end it around when a core ends, and they're not 100% sure when that is at the moment. Is what I would assume.
Well,
But
that could be, yeah.
But yeah, I would not assume that they planned out. The example Ian gave after was 78 episodes, and they cut it down to 66. No, I expect that they were planning to end it in spring, maybe with a retitle or whatever, and now it will end just at a different core point than it would have before. That's what I think is going on. And then someone wants to know, they've only ever seen Digimon as far as anime goes. What would be a good next choice that's close to it? I'm gonna cheat and say a show I worked on because I know it. Metabots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, back in a minute. The cat is doing something weird.
Yeah. But yeah.
I'm gonna mute really quick.
Yeah. I would say if Digimon's the only anime you've seen, finding something close to it may not be the best choice. You may want to see something a bit wilder just to get variety.
Yeah, you want to, because it depends also on why you like and have targeted Digimon specifically for your anime of choice, because there's a lot of different ways to appreciate Digimon, as we're definitely seeing with this in our discussions with the
Yeah.
reboot and how it's been received. So
Yeah,
like
'cause
if you
like-
like
'cause
the
yeah.
if you like the battling monster element,
Dragon
for
Ball
sure,
Z.
your Dragon Ball Z or something, or if you like, the idea of that monster companion thing, like you said, Metabots is a great example of that. If you like, if you're talking original adventure and just like the kids and having their struggle, one that's certainly on my list that's I haven't watched yet, but I'm getting definite Digimon vibes from it, is Astro Lost in Space.
I don't remember that show at all for some reason.
It's new-ish. Like I think it was early. Like I think it was like last.
Okay,
fall-ish.
I know. I remember this. The manga was on sale, and I was thinking of buying it at one point.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say it was late last year is when it came out.
But yeah, if you're looking for Digimon clones, Monster Rancher is not a bad choice, actually.
No, Monster Rancher isn't a bad choice. I'm getting a lot of Monster Rancher vibes out of this new series, if we're being honest, which I'm not sure is a good thing.
See, I think Monster Rancher skewed closer to Old Adventure, to be honest.
I don't think it had the character for that. I think it had the
story.
story.
No, it definitely did. The characters often would stand around and talk and do weird shit. It did.
Yeah, they did. I didn't really relate. I didn't really get into the characters as much, though. Like they kind of.
Oh, okay.
annoyed
Okay, I
me.
get what you meant.
That's where I guess I suppose as far as writing them, that's fair. But as far as relating to them and actually liking them is a different issue. But it certainly had the story. Monster Rancher certainly had a story behind it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, we don't often get audio-related questions, but Sing wants to know, do we think for the new show that they do object-based audio like Atmos and then mix down to stereo? No, I think they're just doing stereo. I don't think they're doing fancy Atmos mixes for TV, for anime TV. In this case.
Somebody in the comments put Zatch Bell. That's another good choice for
that's a good one.
Like monster companion-y type stuff.
And a good chunk of the dub was Jeff Nimoy, as I recall.
A lot of Digimon actors in that too, yeah.
Yeah. I think, is that the one that he left to do Data Squad?
I think so, yeah.
I think he left.
I remember talking to him about that, yeah.
Sorry, Dev, I didn't hear what you said.
Could sworn Zatch Bell ended way before Data Squad was even a thing.
Well, the dub, we mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Could sworn was a lot long ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in the midst of doing it, and then I think Soric took over. But yeah, okay, and this was kind of related to the card game question we got, but different question. If they did a full digital version of the card game, would we play it? I'd try it, but I assume after an hour I'd stop.
I'm saying very open-minded about the card game. Like, I'm probably going to end up getting it at some point, and there's every possibility that I'll enjoy it and will want to play more of it. Like, I'm not opposed to playing online card games. Like, I'm definitely down for like Star Realms and stuff. So, yeah, possibly. There's another
if
maybe.
it was like
There's
a
another
digital
one we
version,
can
I'd
answer with
definitely play it.
maybe.
It's a week of maybe.
It's a week of maybe.
Yeah. And then let's see. Okay, it looks like that's the last of those questions in the chat. We'll give them one more chance. What we did the last two. Someone wants to know.
The last two questions on here are not answerable with maybes, though.
Yeah. Someone wants to know, why don't AR and Mark talk about retro games anymore? It's just because I don't believe we ever planned to talk about retro games. It just happened to come up with what we were discussing, and it just hasn't.
Yeah, it's always us randomly shoehorned. If people ask more game questions,
Yeah.
we're more likely to spin off into tangents
Yes.
about games.
Although
I thought we had when someone was asking for recommendations based off of Cyber Sleuth, I think some of us got into
you're
SNES.
right. You're right.
So it hasn't been that long.
Yeah.
I forgot which game. I think you were talking about Secret of Mana or something like that.
I think I brought up just generic RPGs on the SNES, I think.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, Secret of Mana probably would have come up. Yeah.
Secret of Mana certainly qualifies as a generic RPG on the SNES.
Ooh. Ooh.
Sorry.
Hey, generic Zelda knockoff with RPG elements.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Dev, why don't you talk about retro games anymore?
No one asks me.
Okay. And then
Dev, what's your favorite SNES RPG?
I never owned an SNES.
Well, that shows why Dev, although I guess at this point the Xbox 360 would be retro, isn't it? 15 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh god, I feel old.
I saw the anniversary for the GameCube the other day. Oh my god.
Look, I got the hot new video game system. I got a brand new NES. And the sad part is I'm not kidding. And then
I mean, you can play it. The Switch Online has an NES.
No, I mean like an actual NES.
Okay. I work in anime conventions. I see regular original NESs all the time.
Yeah, my analog one came today. It is a giant aluminum block that you could use to beat someone to death. And then, okay, I don't think me or AR could answer this one. I think this one's actually for Dev. How hard are the Digimon model kits? I haven't done one before and was going to ask for one for Christmas. Now, Dev, I know you've done a number of these, so all you.
They're actually pretty easy. There's only like a couple of sheets in there. I mean, my first actual model kit was the Omegamon one, and I had absolutely no problem with it.
You mean the reboot one, right?
Yeah.
And
had no problem with it.
Okay, did you get the new one? Did you get the new Omegamon one? Is it as close mold-wise as we believe it is? Because it looks like it's the same mold with a few tweaks, or actually putting it together, is it different?
I didn't get the new one, but looking at it, it's exactly the same thing. They just keep
changed
coloring it.
They changed the waist hip thing, and that's about it, I think.
There's barely any differences, but yeah, they snap together pretty easily. All you need to really get for it is just like the correct pair of cutters, but you can get that anywhere. Okay,
so just have something to cut with, and that you won't cut yourself with, and you should be fine. That sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, they even have the exact plier set you'll need at like a bookstore, like Barnes & Noble carries them now.
Okay, out of the 4 available, which would you recommend for people who haven't done these? Because there's Wargreymon, and he's been repainted into Black Wargreymon. There's Omegamon, which is roughly the same as the kit you did, and I think you even had the Metal Garurumon, right?
I got the Metal Garurumon. I didn't put it together yet because it's
Okay.
still over at my friend's house because he had everything shipped there. But from what I've seen of it, probably Wargreymon or Metal Garurumon would be pretty easy. Omegamon's nice, but he's a little wobbly.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense since they only ever did one of those kits, and then released it for 15 years plus, basically. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it for questions. AR, where can they find you, and do you have anything interesting coming up that you want to talk
Yeah.
about?
I do, yeah. Digimon.firstagent.net is my review blog. You can read how craptastic this episode was on it. I do have a new episode of Nexus World coming out on Friday. So if you're hungover from your turkey on Thursday and your leftovers that lunch, you can read about the continuing saga in my story.
Throw a teaser. What does it have? Violence, sex? What is there for the audience?
Just violence, very much violence. Do not. It's not a good day for a Taiki. Put it that way.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think people would complain about that.
Okay, Dev, what Wikimon article quotation S potentially do you want people to read this week?
People should look at the NX Edge style article, which is a bunch of the little cute SD Royal Knights figures.
That's a good choice.
Okay. I'm going to that article right now because I want to see something.
Yeah, I just go to that article, look at those again.
Oh, they do it very good. They not only show off the 3 kits, they mention that the 5 of them that showed up in the games, with 2 of them not existing in reality. But of course, as established, Roto Nightmon, the name gets too confusing for people, and Duftmon no one likes.
Exactly.
Poor Duftmon. But at least he's smart.
Okay, what name do you guys use for Roto Nightmon?
Roto Nightmon.
Okay.
I tend to do. Yeah, I do. I think I do. Yeah, Roto Nightmon would probably be what I just try to be as authentic. I just try to smush it over and be as authentically That's the one time I try to be as authentically Japanese as possible, so I just say Roto Nightmon, and
I get hate mail about that. People don't like that I call it Roto Nightmon because that's not a translation that's been used anywhere. For a character
that eat my ass.
Could just call it Crusadermon if that's what you want.
Yeah,
where you want to go.
Let's look at the names that have been used. We have Crusadermon. I believe Lord Nightmon was used. Lord Nightmon was used. I think Road Nightmon was used once.
Yeah, I remember a Road Nightmon one sneaking in there somewhere.
Yeah. I go with Roto Nightmon because I want to keep, because the Roto Night pun, I feel like it keeps multiple puns in.
Roto Nightmon is the pun that works the best for that character.
Yeah,
Lord Nightmon is stupid.
I want to keep that pun in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Dev probably knows the wiki person who probably is the person who sends the hate mail because they get very upset about that. But yeah, I like keeping in that part of the pun, to be honest. And I agree, Ian, that's pathetic. I shouldn't get hate mail for that. I should get hate mail for other things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you give us hate mail for.
To be fair, you get hate mail too.
I'm sure I do, yeah.
Although yours, I can never tell if they're trolly or not, because there are always questions about your story, and I can never tell if they're a troll or if it's like just some deep question that I don't get.
Oh, well, pass it on to me if you don't.
Oh, no, I do when we get them.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's a question about my story, please give them to me, even if they're trolly.
Oh no,
I've had some really trolly responses to my story that even though it comes across as being really insulting, you read it and deep down you're going, okay, this person's really standing this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been nothing about your stories lately. There very often is, but it feels like it feels like you've been getting the questions directly lately. It feels like you've been answering more of those publicly. So
Yeah,
my
well, I do that.
my assumption is people have just been sending them to you directly.
I mean, that would be the best way to go. I don't
Yeah.
want this podcast to turn into Nexus World recap.
People are
I mean,
welcome to send them in, but really, yes, if
I'm
they
happy
want.
to talk about it. I don't know
Oh.
how much it applies to everybody listening.
I would say most of the ones that have been sent in and which we've done have at least targeted it to things that are actually happening. We're like the few that were sent in about Kazuna, where it was when we were talking about the movie, it's asking about things about the movie. It makes sense, at least to me.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, send to AR if you don't want it on the show. If you want it on the show, send to the 9 million places I have it listed to send stuff in.
Mm-hmm. That said, somebody sent me that exact same question on Tumblr like a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh, I wonder if they sent it to. Was it at the same time we got it here?
No, it was much later.
Oh, so it's someone who just doesn't pay attention to the show then.
Very likely. I don't
Yeah.
promote the podcast as much as I should on my Tumblr.
But
and I promote my story more than I should on my Tumblr.
Yeah. I can be found at With the Will, as always, and my own Twitter, and sign up for our Patreon, and I will start doing the lead-up stuff again, but I'll have to give it a new name since it won't be a lead-up. It's fun. People do want... I get more requests to keep doing that, but people never post about it on the forum. They're always posting on the chat room or emailing me directly about that. So we will catch you guys next time with hopefully a better episode that is just better. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, just like, please get better. It's
The
gonna be a
episode
long.
where we talk about sushi.
It's gonna be a long 66 episodes if it's not.
Yeah. So we will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.